Thank you for watching Poetry in Motion with your host, D. Freeman.
Sometimes I feel anguish. Sometimes I hurt and I wonder why. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so? What is it that makes me ache like this? I ask for, I truly want to know. I observe just outside my window the playful birds chirping with glee. Yet me, I ache with a dull pain and sadly envy the rain, for it is even happy as it sounds of laughter merrily chuckling its way down the drain. It has a mission. That mission is to bring about renewal and birth. Teeming with the sun, they reach into the depths of Mother Earth. There they continue to nurture deeds. Their yearly ritual is to awaken the seeds. Envy just overwhelms me because I too need an awakening. I'm screaming. It's vividly clear, inside and out loud, to no avail, for no voice do I even hear. My screams fall onto deaf ears, or maybe no sound materializes. Do my soundless pleas go totally unheard, never actually crystallizing? And I beg, please rain down on me, saturate me, wash away this lunacy, this uncertainty. But I linger here between sanity and regret, allowing the beaming sunlight to sear my outer shell, and yet sanity repels even the sun's charring singe, not allowing hushed whispers of my mind to penetrate my consciousness of any kind. Only my breath is permitted access to my inner being. Isolation is real, I think. Only my essence loiters in this room of bleakness as I solely slink. My spirit bids my unburied life return. Return from desolation. Return to a real place of melancholy isolation. Arise, open up, awaken. Swell up into wholeness. Defy that urge to fade into despair and nothingness. Let love soar again. Let love open up to let your soul stir. Let this brain, a mass of active synapses, metamorph, awaken from this blur. Clean out and release the cobwebs that entangle my mind. Open up, awaken newly transformed minds. Awaken, renew body. Awaken, high-spirited soul. Awaken, brave. Awaken self to a place of love, self-love, and awaken to become totally whole. Okay, hello there. This is Dee Freeman, and that was Self-Awakening. Thank you for being here with me. We're celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month. So that piece was Self-Awakening, and I have a couple more that are quite apropos for mental health. So I hope you'll take note and take care of your mental health. Mental health refers to emotional and social well-being and impacts how we feel, how we think, how we behave. It plays a role in connecting with others, in our making decisions, in our handling stress, and many other aspects of our daily life. And everyone has mental health, be it good or bad, and it deserves your attention just as much as your physical health does. So mental health is extremely important. Taking care of yourself is critical for this good mental health. Factors like your nutrition, your gut health, your stress, sleep, relationships, trauma, and a lot of other things can contribute to poor mental health. So if your mental health is in a good spot, it's a great time to practice coping skills. And coping skills are the ways that will help you deal with hard feelings. So when you are better able to handle tough times, if and when they happen, if you have good mental health. And there's a website called Mental Health America that is out on the web, so you should check it out if you think at all that you need a bit of help with your mental health. I am happy to talk about James Baldwin today. He's a favorite author of mine, and I have several of his books, and this is a collection of essays. I thought he was a phenomenal writer, and we need another James Baldwin to surface. James Baldwin was a uniquely prophetic voice in American letters. His brilliant and provocative essays made him the literary voice of the civil rights era. And these essays continue to speak with power and powerful urgency to all of us, at least those who read him. He caught the attention of the readers with his novels, his essays, and his plays that beautifully decoded the intricacies of the Western society. Though there was racial, sexual, and class distinction that was prevalently present at the time of Baldwin, whether in the swirling debate over Black Lives Matter movement or in the words of Raoul Peck's documentary, I Am Not Your Negro, not many other people can transform and pack so much truth into their transcripts like Mr. Baldwin. The Library of America's collected essays of Baldwin is the most comprehensive gathering of Baldwin's nonfiction ever published. All the works were novel and unique as he perfectly explored the palpable yet unspoken truth. He also brought to light some fundamental personal questions that remain unanswered amid social and psychological pressures. Notes of a Native Son was the magnum opus of his career that provided Black experience in America, and that means top. He followed it up with Nobody Knows My Name, which became a bestseller and sold over 1 million copies. Some of his other works that gained immense limelight were The Fire Next Time, Another Country, No Name in the Street, and The Devil Finds Work, and most of those are in this book. He was insightful and iconic as a writer and eloquently spoke of the pains and struggles of Black Americans. He also turned out as a leading voice in the civil rights movement. His beliefs are seen in many of his quotes that reflect his ideology and his philosophy. And he says in one of his quotes, "Are we free? If we are determined to be free, we can be. We must wake up and take up the daily challenge, the daily need to start. We need to start out the day at daybreak, fighting against the force that would keep us bowed. We can no longer allow a myth to enslave our minds. We, as a people, have been given the willpower deep within that will help us to understand that the world's definition of our so-called place in the world is the tactics used by this world to keep us in this place, and we're not respected as we meander through this place. I was never bold like others, he says. It took many years of vomiting up the bull I've been taught about myself and the half-truths before I was able to walk on this earth as though I had a right to be here. And another quote, he says, well, if one really wishes to know how justice is administered in a country, one does not question the police, the lawyers, the judges, or the protected members of the middle class. One goes to the unprotected, those precisely who needs the law's protection most, and listen to their testimony. Ask any Mexican, any Puerto Rican, any black man, any poor person. Ask the wretched how they fare in the halls of justice, and then you'll know not whether or not the country is just, but whether or not it has any love for justice or any concept of justice. It is certain in any case that ignorance allied with power is the most ferocious enemy justice can ever have. End quote. His writing is said to flow with burning passion and jabbing epigrammatic wit. Baldwin fearlessly articulated issues of race and democracy and American identity in the famous essay as The Harlem Ghetto, Everybody's Protest Novel, Many Thousand Gone, and Strangers in the Village. In the Library of America volume edited by Nobel laureate Toni Morrison is the fiction that established James Baldwin's reputation as a writer who fused unblinking realism and rare verbal eloquence. His first novel, Go Tell It on the Mountain, in 1953, and it tells the story rooted in Baldwin's own experience of a preacher's son coming of age in the 1930s Harlem. 10 years in the writing, its exploration of religious, sexual, and generational conflicts was described by Baldwin as an attempt to exorcise something, to find out what happened to my father, and to find out what happened to us all. Some of the complete works in his early landmark collections, Notes of a Native Son in 1955. Here Baldwin paints a vivid recollection of his time growing up with a paranoid father who was dying of tuberculosis, and his initial experience with Jim Crow style segregation. Prior to his father's death, Baldwin was befriended by a white teacher of whom his father disapproved. Later, he worked in New Jersey and was often turned down in segregated places. Baldwin recalls a time he hurled a half cup of water at a waitress in a diner, only to realize his actions could have dire consequences. He goes on to say that blacks participating in military service in the South often got abused. Finally, he recounts his father's death, which occurred just before his mother gave birth to one of his younger sisters. His father's funeral was on his 19th birthday. And that was also the same day that the Harlem riots started in 1943. There's one book that he wrote, Giovanni's Room. I like that name, Giovanni, huh? Then he wrote that in 1956. And this book is a searching and, in its day, controversial treatment of tragic self-delusions of a young American expatriate at war with his own homosexuality. Then Nobody Knows My Name in 1961, which established him as an essential intellectual voice of his time, fusing in unique fashion with the personal and literary and political. he writes, out of one thing only, and that was his own experience. Everything depends on how relentlessly one forces from this experience the last drop, the sweet and the bitter. It can only give. With singular eloquence and unblinking sharpness of observation, he lived up to the credo, I want to be an honest man and a good writer. So there is a long list of good books that you can find for James Baldwin. And he started writing, I guess, in 1953. He was born in August 1924 and died in December of 1987. He was 63, but he left a marvelous legacy. Marvelous. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin. All right. So my next piece I'm reading all of them from this is number 3 book, Poetry She Wrote 2, Reflections of the Heart. And this is book number 6, it's just out, Conversations in the Color of Life. So there are a few nice pieces in this, but the ones I'm reading today, I think, are apropos to mental health. And this particular piece I called So As I Think It. A magical eruption of the nerve impulses in my brain create the thoughts I think. I think, therefore I am. What I think I am, I think. And what is it that I think I am? I'm not convinced that what I think is truly thought. Maybe what I'm thinking is only an impression I've been taught. Maybe I'm camouflaged as beliefs tossed to and fro. Maybe I'm me, not real, but me incognito. Often I think I'll never truly know what my outward appearance seems to show. I'll never understand enough to conclude that I truly exist in the here and now. I think I do. At least I wish. The mind, the consciousness, the soul, the self, the thought, the feeling, the complete essence, and all else, I ask my thoughts. From whence do they all come? What is the entirety, the whole and the total of all the above sum? What heavenly realm has spewed forth the breath that I inhale, that travels the waves of my consciousness before I can exhale? What gives rise to this concept of contemplation, ultimately altering the mind and manipulating its deliberation? But finally, unencumbered, the upsurge opens. It opens an awareness that rises from my depth to enlighten my mind and my psyche, allowing all thoughts to ponder on only the me I know that I am to be, thus giving me my true identity. So as I think it. All right. I also have, this is not prose or poetry. It's just some rules that I've listed for loving myself. My new rule after loving and putting others first, my spouse, my children, my grandchildren, my parents, my siblings, my friends, I felt it was truly time for me to start to lift and love myself. Funny thing, I've grown to realize I am not Miss Atlas, and I don't have to carry this whole world, the weight of the world on my shoulders, because I already know that it'll survive on its own, even without my help. I finally decided not to dicker with the produce vendor or any vendor. A few extra pennies, even a buck or two, won't break me, though it could help the person trying to save for their child's education. I now leave our serving waitress a bigger tip. I figured the extra money may make her smile. Plus, I know for certain she's working a lot harder than I am. I'm trying to learn not to correct anyone, even when I know they're mistaken. If they persist in their logic, I just leave it. I feel the duty of making everyone perfect like me is not on me. Pure peace of mind is more precious than perfection. That's my new option. I decided to stop telling older folk, I've heard that story before, because I understand that story takes them down memory lane to relive precious times of their past. It may even give them some joy or the reason for even staying here. So I'll never purposely rob anyone of that right again. I'm deciding not to embarrass my emotional propensity. I'm learning daily that my emotions are what make me me and the unique person that I am. I now move away from people who are obnoxious or who don't value me. They certainly don't know my worth, and I'm sure they don't even care. But I definitely know it and I care. So I appreciate myself. I try doing unto others and readily give compliments, generously knowing compliments are uplifting, for they're uplifting for not only the recipient but also the giver. So may I give a tip to the recipient of a compliment? Never turn it down or give an excuse. Just say, thank you for that. I'm learning not to bother so much about small imperfections in what I'm wearing, though I love to dress and look nice most times. I feel personality speaks a lot louder than appearances in many cases. I tend to remain objective when someone plays dirty just to outrun me in this tedious rat race. So my appreciation lets me know that I am not a rat, nor am I in a race or in competition. I just keep doing me. I'm learning it's better to adjust a negative attitude than to shatter a relationship. I know an out of place ego can make you distant, and having caring relationships mean I won't be alone when I do need a friend. So I try to always be kind. In my latter years, I'm learning to live each day as if it were my last, because, after all, who knows? It just very well might be my last. Here's hoping it's not. But you know what? That's not even my call. I'm striving to do all the necessary things to make myself happy. I alone am responsible for my happiness, and I feel I owe it to myself to be happy. I believe happiness is a personal choice that you can choose at any time. And since it's your choice, I say to you, just choose to be happy. Choose to be the best you possible, and then love every minute of it. So I think it's live long and prosper. I think that's how Spock does it. Okay, so I've got one more piece that I can read from my book, and it's called Looking for Sanity. Stymied, trying to locate from whence in life itself comes, I've traveled within the depths of my being and reflect upon how creation has dealt such a mighty punch to yet bewilder my life's origin and my sovereign destiny. I seek to lose the bindings of my enslaved soul, to squelch the flames of inner emotions, charred desires, though I alone only
Be
sink-
proud, be
sink
productive,
deeper,
and by all means,
drifting into desolate darkness, longing for
blessed.
light to spring from this gloom. Yet here in solitude, my lumbering essence conceals diminishing, retreating sanity. My flaming desire bombards my depth. Intimate and utter solitude can't hold me any longer, captive within myself, for I explore, I ascend. I simultaneously rise from an abysmal depth. I rise and higher, and hopefully higher. My skin may enslave my muscles and bones, my brain may yoke my mind, yet thoughts and desires effortlessly flow. They burst forth as the blood rushes. They heal the broken and gullible belief that I'm frantically seeking to find within my depths. This almighty force will eventually enlighten. This force will shake and awaken. This force will open up a renewed awareness and spirituality. So my essence seeks a revelation as the white matter vibrates, as my heart throbs, as my body tingles, as my mind awakens, and my soul erupts with joy. For I am thus revived, enlightened. Still seeking the truth, I am wistfully transformed as if on a euphoric silver-lined cloud. Here on this cloud, floating higher and higher, I find peaceful, satisfying, meaningful, and anticipated sanity. Ah, sanity, the master and supreme ruler of my existence. So, what I'm saying is, thank God I'm sane, because there are a lot of people who think they are, but they are not really. So, coming to a close, I want to read a few marvelous quotes. Some were were put in a newsletter by Miss Nixon at our church, and I embellished a little bit and added some of my own. But on this uphill journey, we should strive to dream like Martin, lead like Harriet, fight like Malcolm, write like Maya, speak like Frederick, dare like Shirley, think like Garvey, reclaim like Maxine, educate like W.E.B., challenge like Rosa, and inspire like Obama. And my few that I added, but not only that, let's strive to stand like Dunny, serve like Kamala, promote like Tyler, organize like Fannie Lou, march like John, uplift like Larry, collaborate like Jesse, become like Michelle, articulate like Cornell, touch like Oprah, aspire like Thurgood. So, those are some notable quotes. And if we do just a few of these, I'm sure we will have a much, much better life. So God has a purpose for your pain, a reason for your struggle, a gift for your faithfulness, eternity for your soul. So don't give up. By all means, keep the faith.
Freeman.
God has
T.
a
Freeman.
purpose for your life, a reason for your struggles, and a plan for your faithfulness. So be proud, be productive, and by all means, be blessed.